Amy Roloff's hard-earned farm fortune, now hanging by a thread? What fans didn't know, until now, is that her husband, Chris Marek, may have made a risky financial move that could jeopardize it all. A secret investment, a shocking betrayal, and growing tension inside one of reality TV's most beloved families. The secret money crisis, followed by slow fade-in of Chris's failed investment risks Amy's farm fortune. Little people, big world. Fans have watched Amy Roloff for nearly 2 decades. From her days running the famous Roloff Farms with ex-husband Matt, to building a new life with her second husband, Chris Marek, Amy's journey has been one of resilience, growth, and love. But behind the smiles and social media posts, a storm has been quietly brewing. According to multiple insider sources and deep fan investigations, Chris Marek, known for his charm and background in real estate, may have placed a high-stakes investment that didn't go as planned. And now, Amy's financial future could be at risk. Clip shows Amy walking her property with Chris, fade to her discussing money worries on a past TLC confessional. What was this secret investment? Why didn't Amy know sooner? And is this the beginning of a deeper rift between the couple? In this exclusive 60-minute deep dive, we're uncovering everything from the origin of the investment, to what Amy knew and when, to how this financial disaster could cost her more than just money. The real story behind Chris's business deal. Whether Amy's portion of the Roloff Farm is legally tied to it, the reaction from her children, and Matt Roloff himself, and the fans' overwhelming response across social media. Stick with us as we piece together this shocking financial drama, one that could shake the Roloff legacy to its core. Because sometimes the real danger isn't in what's said on camera. It's in what's hidden behind closed doors. Subscribe and hit that bell icon. You don't want to miss the truth behind the headlines. After Amy Roloff's very public divorce from Matt Roloff, many fans wondered what would become of her. Not just emotionally, but financially. For decades, she was an integral part of the Roloff family empire. Roloff Farms wasn't just a piece of land. It was a symbol of resilience, family heritage, and the dream they had built together, acre by acre. But in the aftermath of the separation, Amy made some big decisions, ones that would shape her future and, possibly, put her legacy at risk. Amy's financial comeback. In the years following the split, Amy carved out her own success. She sold her portion of Roloff Farms to Matt for a reported $975,000, initially seen as a bittersweet but smart move. She didn't just take the money and disappear. Amy Roloff turned her name into a brand. She launched Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, capitalizing on her passion for cooking and baking. She published 2 books, short and simple family recipes, and her memoir, A Little Me, both of which did well among her loyal TLC fanbase. Her story of perseverance resonated with thousands of readers, especially women navigating life after divorce. Amy also became a sought-after speaker, appearing at women's conferences, charity galas, and empowerment panels. Her honesty about navigating life with dwarfism, parenting, and starting over after heartbreak gave her a unique and inspiring voice. All this, combined with savvy investments in local real estate and consistent royalties from Little People, Big World, allowed Amy to build a surprisingly stable financial base. The emotional value of Roloff Farms. Even after selling her main share, Amy didn't fully let go of the farm. She retained a small piece of the property, reportedly about 4 acres with a house that she sometimes visits with her children and grandchildren. This parcel, though modest in size, carries deep emotional weight. It's where family memories were made, where she raised her kids, and where she envisioned growing old with Matt before everything changed. To fans and to Amy, this wasn't just land, it was her legacy. Enter Chris Marek. Then came Chris Marek, a real estate agent by trade, charming, outdoorsy, and seemingly the opposite of Matt in many ways. Chris met Amy at a singles mixer, and their relationship blossomed quickly. At first, fans were thrilled to see Amy happy again. She deserved it. After years of emotional turmoil and public scrutiny, here she was, smiling beside a man who seemed to support her independence. They got married in 2021, and Chris moved into Amy's new home, not on the farm, but in a nearby neighborhood. However, as their relationship deepened, so did his involvement in her personal and professional life. And here's where things started to raise eyebrows. While Chris has his own successful background in real estate, his sudden connection to Amy's finances, especially anything related to the Roloff legacy, was viewed with increasing suspicion by longtime fans. Amy had built herself back up from the ground. But now, whispers began swirling online. Was Chris really helping Amy? Or was he starting to influence financial decisions that could ultimately put her hard-earned fortune and emotional connection to the farm at risk? This is the beginning of a complicated story, one involving love, money, legacy, and potentially betrayal. As we peel back the layers, we'll reveal the investment decisions Chris made, the red flags fans spotted, and how all of it could impact Amy's cherished place in the Roloff family story. Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For Roloff family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Chris Marek entered Amy Roloff's life as a charming, stable presence after the emotional turmoil of her divorce from Matt. At first glance, he seemed like the perfect partner, supportive, adventurous, and successful in his own right. But as time has gone on, whispers from fans and behind-the-scenes sources suggest that Chris's financial footprint may not be as stable as once believed. Could his real estate ambitions be quietly putting Amy's farm fortune at risk? Chris's career in real estate. The good, the bad, the unclear. Chris Marek has worked in real estate for over 20 years and has been associated with Keller Williams Realty in Oregon. On paper, his career looks solid. He's been involved in residential home sales and dabbled in luxury properties. His business acumen helped build him a modest reputation in the Portland area. But dig deeper, and you'll find a career marked by mixed results. While he's closed several high-value home sales, his ventures into property investment and land development have not always yielded the outcomes he likely hoped for. According to public real estate records and forums frequented by Oregon area investors, Chris has been part of a few land acquisitions that either stagnated or failed to turn a profit. A timeline of ventures, not all gold glitters. Chris reportedly first stepped into the investment side of real estate around 2013. He and a few partners allegedly purchased a parcel of land just outside Hillsboro, Oregon. The intention? Develop it into a small suburban community aimed at young families. But delays in zoning approvals, unexpected construction costs, and local opposition stalled the project for years. The land eventually sold off in pieces, with minimal return on investment, according to online property transaction databases. In 2016, he was also linked to a property flip project that initially excited local investors, a mid-century fixer-upper in Beaverton purchased for $270,000. The renovation went over budget and over schedule. When it finally hit the market again, it sold for just $290,000 after nearly a year, barely breaking even after expenses. These aren't disastrous failures, but they point to a man whose risk tolerance might be higher than what Amy Roloff, or her fans, are comfortable with. A new development deal. Risky or visionary? Sources close to the couple and active voices in online LPBW forums have hinted that Chris recently bought into a new land development project near Bend, Oregon. The area is booming with real estate activity, and land prices have doubled in some places in under 5 years. Chris reportedly believed this was a can't-miss opportunity. The problem? This kind of investment usually requires deep pockets and a long waiting game. One source alleges that Chris fronted a large portion of the initial capital with the expectation that Amy would get involved later as a partner. Another theory is even more troubling, that Chris used joint funds, money earned from Amy's book deals, her share of the farm sale, and even her LPBW appearances to cover the down payment without fully disclosing the risks. While there's no public record yet tying Amy's name to the project, insiders speculate that she was encouraged to view it as a legacy investment, something for their future together. Fans start to ask questions. As these rumors gained traction, fans began to voice concern. Comments flooded social media. Amy deserves to enjoy her money, not gamble it on more real estate. Why is Chris still hustling big deals? Isn't retirement the goal? He seems way too eager to invest what Amy worked hard for. Some LPBW fans recalled scenes from past seasons where Chris brushed off Amy's more cautious instincts about money. One moment in particular shows Amy hesitating to commit to buying new property jointly, while Chris seems more enthusiastic, if not outright persuasive. Whispers of financial tension have only increased. A few even believe this might be the root of recent changes in Amy and Chris's relationship dynamic, subtle on screen but noticed by loyal followers. Could Chris's risky nature with money be creating cracks behind closed doors? The whispers started quietly, but as more pieces came to light, the full picture became increasingly hard to ignore. Chris Marek, long viewed as the cool, collected counterbalance to Amy Roloff's emotional energy, may have taken one gamble too far. At the center of it all, a failed property development deal that may have cost more than just dollars. It could have shaken the foundation of his relationship with Amy and jeopardized her hard-earned financial stability. The property development flop. According to real estate chatter and insider accounts from close to the Roloff circle, Chris had been eyeing a tract of undeveloped land on the outskirts of Hillsboro, Oregon. The area, once seen as up-and-coming, had attracted attention from mid-level investors hoping to cash in on the growing demand for suburban housing. In early 2024, Chris reportedly partnered with two other local developers to purchase a 12-acre parcel with plans to turn it into a small community of eco-friendly townhomes. The total projected cost of the development? Somewhere north of $2.5 million, with Chris allegedly fronting a sizable portion of that, estimated at $800,000, through a mix of personal savings and investment loans. The timeline was ambitious: land clearing and infrastructure by summer 2024, and homes ready to sell by spring 2025. But that vision crumbled fast. By late 2024, permitting delays, soil drainage problems, and a local zoning board dispute brought the project to a screeching halt. Reports suggest that key environmental surveys hadn't been completed before breaking ground. Worse, one of the co-investors allegedly pulled out, leaving Chris and the remaining partner scrambling to recover funding. Construction was halted indefinitely by October 2024, and the property now sits largely abandoned, a fenced-off patch of overgrown brush and rusting machinery. What was once supposed to be Chris's signature post-TV project is now being whispered about as his greatest blunder. Insider reports, mismanagement or overconfidence. Those close to the situation paint a complex picture. Some say Chris was simply in over his head. Despite his years as a real estate broker, managing a full-scale development project is a different beast entirely, one that requires navigating municipal red tape, contractor networks, and tight construction timelines. A source from the Hillsboro Development Office reportedly told a local blogger it was clear from the start that this group wasn't fully prepared. They underestimated the review process and overpromised to the city. Others claim Chris got swept up in his own ambitions. Having enjoyed newfound fame through Little People, Big World and his marriage to Amy, perhaps he was eager to prove that he could build something of his own, outside of Amy's shadow or the lingering legacy of Roloff Farms. Unfortunately, that ambition may have outpaced good judgment. There are even murmurs that Chris ignored early warnings from advisors, particularly about the instability of the water table beneath the land. Whether due to overconfidence, naivety, or a blend of both, the result was the same: a massive financial loss. Did Chris use joint money? Here's where things get murky and messy. Some fans and alleged insiders speculate that the real reason Amy has looked tense in recent public outings is because of how this investment was funded. While Chris and Amy reportedly keep mostly separate finances, there have been long-standing rumors that they opened a joint account in 2023 to manage shared expenses for travel, house renovations, and future retirement plans. According to these claims, Chris may have tapped into that joint account to cover mounting costs as the development project faltered. One unconfirmed report from a former acquaintance says Chris initially only intended to borrow a small portion, temporarily to pay a permit consultant, but the situation spiraled, turning into tens of thousands drawn over a few months. Fans were quick to pick up on subtle signs. In one Raising Heights vlog, Amy noticeably tensed when Chris brought up a new opportunity in real estate. In another clip, when asked if they were planning another vacation, Amy dryly responded, "We've got to keep an eye on the budget these days." That wasn't the only sign of tension. Sharp-eyed viewers noticed Amy recently removed an Instagram highlight titled "Our Future," which had previously included photos of property searches and retirement home ideas. Coincidence? Or coded message? Amy's reaction: denial, concern, or confrontation. So how did Amy take all this? Depending on who you ask, the answer varies widely. Some say Amy was initially in denial, refusing to believe that Chris would put her money, her security, and their future in jeopardy. She has always described Chris as calculated and careful. The idea that he could make such a huge error seemed unthinkable at first. But that changed after a heart-to-heart earlier this year. One insider close to Amy's friend group claims she burst into tears after learning the extent of the financial damage. That same source says she confronted Chris directly, asking, "Why didn't you tell me the whole truth from the start?"